Hi, this is Louise again, taking messy action to help you discover the truth about who you are. And one of the main things that I would like to talk about is imagination. Our imagination is probably the most powerful part of our being. You know, the imagination is all powerful. In our Western societies especially, the imagination has always been sort of written off in some ways, you know, like it's just somebody going into fantasy and not being realistic, you know. In our society, we have to think rational mindedly, we have to be realistic, we have to be, you know, there has to be a plan. And in truth, the imagination is what actually creates your whole life, the good and the bad. Now, when you're, you know, a really young child, well, all of us generally, when we're young, very young, between the age of about 0 and 7, we are so open. We are in a very slow brainwave frequency, sort of more like, I think, alpha and theta states. And because of that, we don't have that rational thinking ability at that point. And everything that happens to us, we're like a sponge. Everything that goes on, we're like a sponge. We take it all on. And generally, during that period of our lives, we are wounded in some way in relation to what our heart really came into this life to create or to be or to do. You know, we get wounded in relation to that. And that's what, and multiple, it might be multiple woundings, you know, things that happen that really might not be that much actually physically or whatever, but we make it in our little very fertile young minds, you know, we make it mean something about us. And that's where our beliefs come from. The beliefs that we hold about ourselves that are mainly held in our unconscious mind, which is basically our body. Our physical body is really our unconscious mind. And that's where all these memories are stored. And those unconscious beliefs are affecting our imaginations. So if you've, for instance, well, if I take myself as an example, there were things that happened to me when I was a child that made me feel like I didn't belong, that I didn't deserve things, that I didn't deserve what other people have. And consequently, I created a life for myself. That's gone into my imagination. And the life that I created was a life where I always felt like I was on the outside of everything, like I didn't really belong, like, you know, like and I managed to manifest situations in my life to confirm to me my beliefs, because that's what happens. If you have a belief, the belief will create a situation in your life which will reaffirm to you, or it will affirm to you your belief. So it's like a cycle that goes round and round. You have a belief that makes that creates a situation which confirms your belief. So all of that comes from our imagination, okay? Because I imagined that I was not good enough, or that I didn't deserve things and I didn't belong. I imagined that. It came from my imagination. Okay? It was not something real. It was made up. And where we make up things is in our imaginations. Great. So if you want to change your life, you simply have to imagine what you want. You imagine that you, for instance, do belong. You know, I imagine that I do belong, and therefore I create a different reality through doing that, if you see what I mean. Neville Goddard, I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He's I've got quite a few of his books, and I followed him for a while. And he is really, he's not alive anymore. He was a mystic that lived in America, and I think he was teaching and doing work in the 30s, 40s, 50s. I think he died in the early 1970s, something like that. But Neville Goddard talks a lot about the imagination, and what he prescribes is that if you really want something, then when you go to bed at night, before you go to sleep, you create a scene in your mind with the end result of what it is you want, feeling like you're in your mind and feeling like you're already there, feeling like you already have it. So one example was he wanted to go back to Barbados where his family lived, but he didn't have the money to buy. At that point, he had to buy a ticket to go on a ship from New York to Barbados, and he didn't have the money, and he didn't know what he was going to do. So what he did was he went to sleep every night, imagining that he was actually in his bed in his parents' home in Barbados, and he could hear the water, the sea outside. He could feel the breeze coming through the window. He created a whole scene in his imagination that he was already actually there. And then within a few weeks, he received a letter from his brother, or something along those lines, with a ticket in it for him to go to Barbados, because everyone else was going to be there for Christmas and he wanted to be there too. And his brother just actually just sent him a ticket, or sent him the money for a ticket, actually. I think it was, sent him the money for a ticket. So, and I think that works. It works really well, actually, because I've created quite a few things by using that technique. And the reason it works is because your subconscious mind, which is the place that you create from, okay, it's your subconscious mind is the fertile garden where you plant your seeds and they grow. And the subconscious mind does not have any opinions about anything. It will just accept to create whatever holds the most energy within your mind. So when you go to sleep at night, if you go to sleep at night with fears and doubts and problems in your mind, what will happen is that you will create more of the same. You'll attract more of the same things, more of the same sorts of problems and worries. You will attract more of that. You'll create more of that, in other words. Because your subconscious mind never sleeps. Your self-conscious mind goes to sleep, but your subconscious mind doesn't. It's always on duty. So if you go to sleep with a scenario in your mind of what you do want, and you really feel the emotion of it. You really feel like you're already there. That's the important bit. You have to feel it, because feeling is the secret to creating what you want. And you're engaging your imagination and you're feeling it in your heart. You've got that emotion of gratitude and joy and happiness. Couldn't think of another one. Happiness as well. You feel those emotions, and if you go to bed with your goal in your head, your scene in your head, you see yourself there, you hear what people are saying to you, you create a whole little movie in your mind, then your subconscious is going to go, oh, okay, that's what we want then. We'll create that then. And that's how it works. It's very simple. I don't always succeed. I mean, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, because I'm human and I'm not perfect at any of this, because, you know, who is? I don't know who is, you know. But it is a very interesting exercise to try. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, I follow him as well, his work. And he always says gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership, which I really like. I really like that. And that is it. If you go to sleep with with a scene in your mind of what you want, that you're already there, that you already have it, and that you're filled with joy and gratitude, and you keep on doing it, then it will eventually come to you. It will transpire. So that's it for now. And last time I did a video, I thought my title of my book was going to come up back to front, but it actually came up the right way. So here's my book. It's called The Idiot's Guide to Magic, and you can buy it online. You can buy it from Amazon, and I think it's in the book depository and other places as well. It's all over the place, and you can get a copy. And this is basically about the work I do, the coaching work I do. I'm a coach and I'm a sound healer, and I'm an intuitive coach as well, so it's slightly different from life coaching. And I teach people about consciousness. So that's me in a nutshell, and looking forwards to hearing from you. And I think I'm supposed to say on these, can you like and subscribe? I'm really kind of new to putting myself out there as much as this, so if you could like and subscribe, it would be awesome. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.